In this video, we're going to look at how to write an introductory paragraph for an essay. And what you see on the screen is a representation of the structure of an introductory paragraph. And this structure is going to be what we'll be using for all the essays we're writing in this course. And you can use it for any argumentative essay that you need to write. So we're going to take a look at what each of those three parts is, talk a little bit about how to write them, although when we get to the specific types of essays, we'll have more specific suggestions on how to do each of those parts depending on the type of essay we're doing. So the three parts are topic, purpose, and thesis. And they should appear in that order in the intro paragraph, and they should be in really discrete or separate sections of the intro paragraph. So first we start with the topic, and that just means introducing the topic, the subject matter that the essay will address. So this is often the longest part of the intro paragraph, 3 or 4 sentences, because you're laying out for the reader what they need to know to understand the topic, maybe some context, maybe some background. You don't want to go on too long, but you need to give enough so that people will know what the topic is and have a little bit of understanding of it. Then we move on to the purpose. So you have to establish what the purpose of your essay is, right? What you're going to do with that topic you've just introduced. So you need to present a specific question or particular issue that your essay will address. So this is going to be the shortest part of your introductory paragraph because you're boiling everything down into a single question or a single issue that will unify the whole essay. This is where you get focus in your essay. And we'll talk about the different ways you can do that in different types of essays. Lastly, we have the most important part, which is the thesis. That's where you answer the question that you've just presented or take a position on the issue that you've just presented. That's the most important thing that the thesis needs to do. So you can think of the second and third parts of the intro as sort of a question and answer unit. You pose a question, then you give an answer, and the answer is your thesis. So in addition to answering that question or taking a position on the issue, you also need to think about some other things for your thesis. It needs to be clear, obviously. No grammar expression errors, no illogical reasoning. It needs to be specific. So there are 2 different ways to make a thesis specific. If your thesis has a multi-part answer, then you just go through the different parts of your answer, and that's how you make it specific. If the answer is sort of a one-part answer, like for or against something, then you make it specific by giving the different reasons for your answer, okay? And so usually you're going to have at least 2 different parts or 2 different reasons. Sometimes you might have 3, maybe 4. Getting beyond that is going to make things a little long. So you want to give about 2 to 4 different parts of your answer or 2 to 4 different reasons here that are specific. You need to make your thesis parallel, especially the parts or reasons. So you want to use parallel structure so that it's easier to read. And we'll be talking more about how to do that in the future. Your thesis needs to be unified. So the thesis needs to be one unit in one place in your intro. For example, 1 sentence at the end of the introduction. That's the most typical situation. Sometimes your thesis needs to be 2 sentences in certain kinds of essays, but normally it's just 1, and it's just in one place, not at the very beginning and the very end, usually just at the end and just as a single unit. And lastly, it needs to be arguable. So it needs to be a claim that someone could either disagree with or that they could provide a different answer for. So it doesn't have to be a pro-con kind of argument. It could just be a type of argument where you're making an observation or providing an answer that's more than just a statement of fact. It's something that someone else could disagree with or have a different answer to. All right, so those are the basic parts of an introductory paragraph. As we said, usually we're talking about one paragraph, about a half a page here. So topic, purpose, and thesis are the three parts. And we've talked about what those do at a basic level. And in the future, as we go through the different types of essays that we're going to be doing, we'll be spending a lot of time talking about how to establish your topic for a certain type of essay. There are different ways that work well for certain types, how to do a purpose for a certain type, what kind of thesis structure, organization, and content are going to work well for certain types of essays. But at this point, you want to start thinking in your mind, topic, purpose, thesis. That's what you want to be thinking about when you're writing an intro paragraph. And as I said, this is going to apply to all the essays we're doing, and it can help you with other essays that you're writing as long as they're argumentative in nature.